and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. This is our preview for Manchester United in the Premier League at the weekend. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe. You'll help it grow massively. The views at the minute are just fantastic. And it's great seeing so many of you interacting in the comment section. So we have a light target of 250. But before we do, we're just going to start with the officiating of the game against Man United in the FA Cup that I was witnessing. It was a shit show, weren't it? From start to finish. I thought, being at the game, seeing how it was all unravelling, the referee, Michael Oliver, he set a tone, didn't he, at the start? Booked Ramsey straight away. So you're sort of thinking, okay, that's your precedent. Let's go. It's going to be card happy. And then United were just... so many fouls, weren't there? There was no card on their front. And a couple of things that really frustrated me in that game was the lino. Every time Luke Shaw took a corner, a little pat on the back, a little nudge. I just don't get it. And then the other lino, he gave a throw in, and it was clear to see where I was sitting that he got it wrong. Ref had to, say he got it the wrong way. Him hugging Fred, Michael Oliver, just a joke, isn't it? And then VAR, just utter shit show from start to finish. And I think for me now, my frustration with these refs, the officiating in the Premier League, we've seen it at home this season. It's just been a shocker. Virtually every game we've had a crap ref. I think it's really now time to see them mic'd up, so we can hear what's going on. We can hear what they're going on about during the game. We can hear what Stockley Park are saying to him, what they're checking. Because when I was in that stadium yesterday, I had no idea what was going on at all. There's no screen. And I just think it's a complete joke. The minutes it took is a joke. And that's my rant over, because I've been so frustrated about it all day. But I just thought I'd just have a little rant on this podcast that the Premier League got crap refs, and VAR was brought in to stop all of this chat, all of this, just all of the, you should know what's going on. And I just think we don't. I think it's creating more problems in the game than what it was before we even had it. So bitterly frustrated, because we've gone out the cup. We scored a real decent goal, and it was just chalked off. And guess who we got coming to Villa Park? What's his name? Coots, the ref.
David Coot.
So, he's on Facebook. Villa, he's got Old Trafford in his background. It's just crap, innit? Does anyone want to add anything on this? Because it's crap.
Bring back Uriah Rennie. All is forgiven. Come back, mate. It's garbage, and it is garbage. Last night, this is the most prestigious cup in English football, isn't it? And it's not even a level playing field, because if we played that game on a football league ground, we'd have scored, and it would have been 1-1. And, we might have gone on and won it, or it might have gone back to extra time, or we might have lost, but we would have equalised. But yeah, our equaliser, we scored, and it was like, right, let's find the obvious mistake. Let's go and find it, because that's what they were doing. They were finding it. It weren't even blatantly obvious. They went looking for it. And
but Ryan,
3 minutes.
Michael Oliver is standing right in front of Cavani and Ramsey. He saw that incident. He saw that incident and thought nothing of it. Now, all this fiasco of VAR getting involved, then going for him to check, that was not a clear and obvious error on the ref's part, in my opinion, whatsoever.
Luke, 3 minutes and 36 seconds it took to come to the conclusion. Danny Ings, has he handballed it? Where did he put it in? No. Let's look at it 10 times. No. Oh, hold on a minute. Watkins, has he touched that ball? Because if he's touched it, he's offside. Let's look at that 10 times. No. Oh, hold on a minute. Cavani's been blocked off by Ramsey. Oliver's seen it. Nah, not really. Let's go back to Ings. No, he hasn't handballed it. Watkins, no. Hold on a minute. Hold on. We've got it. Watkins is in an offside position. What a load of bollocks. What utter dross. And it just leaves such a bitter taste in your mouth. Like, what a waste of 3.5 minutes, especially for you in that ground as well. Not a clue what is going on. But for me, Ramsey, yes, he is in an offside position, but he's chose to put himself in that position. He's right as a footballer. If he wants that space, he can have that space, and that's up to him. Now, he's made himself redundant for that first phase with the ball coming over. That's his choice. Now, Cavani's defending. Surely he's seen where Ramsey is. He's seen that he's offside. For me, Ramsey's a brick wall. He's a brick wall, and Cavani's gone, I'm going into that brick wall. And his arms is in the air before he's even hit Ramsey. He's just ploughed into him. The referee's there. He's looking at it, ploughed straight into him. Now, Oliver's seen it. Oliver's seen it, hasn't it? And the plays continued, and we scored a goal. So it is farcical. You don't want to bring all this big six bollocks into it, but last night it felt like it, and it felt like they had an extra advantage.
Because the thing for me is the little tapping of Luke Shaw. Every time he had a corner, it was a little tap in the back. Like it's like it's his mate. What this is an official who is meant to be impartial, ref in the game. I don't really like this pally with players. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're not there to be your mates. It just feels like they're just there to have a good time. And I just think when they've got that rapport with certain players on the pitch, it's just not good in my opinion. And it's just crap. And it always happens to the lesser teams, doesn't it? And the decisions always don't go our way. Konsa, virtually injury time, weren't it? Luke Shaw is literally looking where Konsa is running. He's looking at Konsa, and there's an arm. He's blooded his nose. What else? That not a pen? Do you know, if you're saying that Cavani's contacts on Ramsey can disallow a goal, then surely Luke Shaw's on Konsa is a penalty. It's just an absolute joke. Justin, do you want to add anything on it?
Well, I think you've both covered it very well, to be honest. The frustration, the annoyance, the continued annoyance with VAR. It's just not working, is it? It's brought in to get rid of all this, and all we keep doing is talking about VAR decisions. I mean, it did definitely seem like it was just, let's just keep looking until we find a reason they can disallow this goal. And that's the most frustrating thing, because the most important part for me of the VAR is clear and obvious, because it gets the rest out of a lot of holes, doesn't it? Clear and obvious, because they can basically say, okay, there was a slight thing there that we could maybe have a point with, but the ref didn't actually see that. So if the ref hasn't seen it, then it's not clear and obvious. If the ref has missed an absolute howler, if Cavani turns to run back in to try and flick that header on, and Ramsey sticks his foot out and legs him over, great, that's a foul, isn't it? But Ramsey, like Ryan put very well, has decided, like a lot of players do, to stand in the first phase offside. Now, that's to sort of put them off, isn't it? Because they're thinking, where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? Because if he heads it across, is he going to get the jump on our defenders? But he didn't. He knew the ball was coming in. Even if Cavani hadn't fell over, he wouldn't have got to that ball. And he turned and he barged into Ramsey. And to find that fault with it, and then to decide that it was offside because Ramsey was originally offside, then just because they made the supposed foul, that's the reason to disallow it. It just makes a mockery for me of the game. And I tweeted on Saturday that the FA Cup, to have half the games with VAR and half the games without VAR, is a joke in itself, because
but that's just classic, isn't it? That's just what happens. So, you know what I mean?
But what is the point in that? You got a competition there that the integrity has gone in, because I watched the game on Saturday. I think it was Hull, and there was two blatant handballs, and because there wasn't VAR, neither of them were given. So how's that fair?
If you're going to do that, just save it to the semi-final when it's neutral grounds. Both games are neutral. The final's neutral. Then bring VAR in then. Not when half the teams are playing with it and half the teams
aren't. No, because all it's done is it's allowed VAR to be decided by the draw. Nothing else. It's just if you get drew away at a Premier League club, you're going to get VAR. Like you say, if we get drawn against any other division team, we don't get VAR. And this is why VAR really needs to be put in the bin. It won't disappear now. We've got it forever. But unless they decide to use it properly and with less, I don't know, not ambiguity. I can't. It's the refs. The refs have a hard enough job as it is. But to now put it into, instead of having the 3 people on the pitch in charge, you've now got 2 people in the stands looking at video cameras, and it's everything about it is frustrating. Like I said, 4 minutes of injury time for that, and they didn't even get the injury time right. There should have been about 9 minutes of injury time after that because of the injuries and the substitution. So,
and did you see that he blew bang on 6 minutes? Bang on that 6 minutes.
He couldn't
Whistle
wait.
was in the mouth. He was waiting. He was watching his watch.
Yeah.
Conza had the ball, and I thought he's going to ping this last one in. We've got a couple of seconds left, but no, bang on the money.
I commented on that at the time.
It doesn't take away. Sorry, it doesn't take away from the fact we all know we should have got something out of that game, regardless of that goal. But take the controversy out of the game, please. Get rid of VAR.
Ridiculous. Right, we'll move on to the positives. Hannah, what did you like in the performance?
There was a lot to like. I made a comment last night, post-match, that I was just in a stinking mood, basically, and I felt like it was one of those games, especially when it's a one-off and you get knocked out, so it's like you can't go back to it or build from it. I just thought, what is the point in taking positives from this? Because we've got nothing from it, and it feels like the last few games we're getting to the point where we're edging closer and closer towards us. Lots of positives to take. We'll go again, and I felt like no, we had to get something out of that game. So there was positives to take. I will now reflect back and be a bit more optimistic, because I think, deserved to win that game. For 90% of it, I felt like we were in it and competing, and looked positive. There were minor moments where I think there was some sloppiness and it was a bit frustrating, but for the most part, I think we played really well, especially going forward. I thought Buendia was very good. I think it was the first game where Watkins and Ings have played together that I've actually thought it worked. We haven't scored a goal, so you might say that's sort of a double negative, but I think they were spaced maybe a little bit further apart. I feel like they complemented each other a bit better, and they had shots, so I feel like that worked to an extent, and hopefully they can build on that going forward, because it would be nice for them both to play together. And we were on the player ratings last night, and I felt like no one really played poorly. That will be a very controversial opinion, because I think things are very polarised at the minute. It's either you love or hate a player, or someone was brilliant or someone was shocking, and it's very much like hot or cold. But I genuinely think, for the most part, everyone had a pretty decent performance, and that is a positive to take, that there wasn't anyone who was sort of the passenger. Everyone pulled their weight, and going forward to Saturday, we've got to win. I will not accept anything other than a win, and it's got to that point, because if we lose, we'll be at 4 losses in a row, which, you're edging towards that territory of, come on, we need to start winning, otherwise we're going to slip down the table. And we've proven that we can compete against them. We've beaten them already once this season, and should have beaten them a second time. So I've listed a lot of things there that we should be capitalising on at the weekend, and thinking, yes, we've lost, we've been very unfortunate to lose, but we've got to take that as a chance to prove that we can do it on Saturday. And it was just a momentary slip, whether that was VAR or us not taking our chances. If Ollie Watkins' shot doesn't hit the crossbar, we'd be having a different conversation. It's not just VAR, it's wasteful chances as well. So yeah, I just don't want to keep getting to the point where we're having really positive, dominant performances like Brentford, and we're losing games. It's a really bad place to be in my opinion, because if you've got the bad performances, you think, oh, we played rubbish, we didn't deserve it. But if you're playing games consistently at a high or decent level, and you're still losing or not even picking up a point, it's worrying for me. And Gerard's words last night about we're nearly there, we're at the nearly stage, we've just got to take that one step up, I completely agree. On Saturday, it's got to be that extra 5-10% the finishing of the chances, the not getting dispossessed in midfield, because we are nearly there. You can sense it. You can sense the change. You can sense the positivity around the team. We need that. We need that extra 5-10% on Saturday, and I feel positive.
I think that extra 5 and 10% might come from number 23, Philippe Coutinho. Last week on this podcast, Justin, we were chatting about transfers, who would like to sign, and Justin mentioned a certain Coutinho, and I was just a little bit like, no chance. I didn't even, no one even said anything, do you know what I mean? We all were just like, no chance. The next day, literally, Coutinho linked to Villa. Another day after that, Thursday, Friday, Coutinho signed for Aston Villa. Talk to me, Philippe Coutinho, Justin. I mean, are you Lang's best mate or what?
Look at that smug face.
Well, to be fair to me, I wasn't calling something out the blue. There was a couple of brief links, wasn't there? That there was a bit of a sniff that something could have happened. But you know, every football club that aspires to win anything or to do anything, especially in the modern age of money, they all need that one marquee signing, that one player that will spark everything from there. Now, we've done phenomenally well over the last 3 years to get to where we are now. But to take the next step in our evolution to get anywhere near European and Champions League places, you have to get the best players, don't you? That's the only way it happens. I do feel like we've got the right manager now. I think he's young. He's still inexperienced, but you know, he's definitely the man for the job. But he needed that player. He needed that player on the pitch to stamp sort of his authority on the squad. And obviously, I'm under no illusions that if we haven't got Steven Gerrard as a manager, we don't get Philippe Coutinho on the pitch. So it all seems to happen for a reason, doesn't it? So to get a player of his quality does feel a bit like a Coutinho, a Robinho moment at Man City, and even go back to when sort of Abramovich walked into Chelsea. You know, that's the sign the likes of Ruud Gullit, Gianluca Vialli turned up. You know, Zola turned up, and you only need one of those players to make that leap into, you know, not the unknown, but you know, if you'd have said at the start of the window that Philippe Coutinho is going to end up in the Premier League this window, you know, there'd have been 6-7 clubs really you would have put ahead of us. But we've done it. We've brought him in. They've put the money where the mouth is again, the owners. The manager's used his ability and his contacts to get him. I just think now this is you draw a line in the sand now of where we are and where we're going. I feel like this is the real start of something now where we can kick on. It is, make no mistake, a phenomenal signing for Aston Villa Football Club. Yes, he's got to still do it on the pitch. Yes, you know, he hasn't had the greatest times at Barcelona, so there's a small bit of not a worry, because we all know he's got the quality, but we've got to get him up to match fitness and match sharpness. So we'll see. I think Gerrard said we need to see how he is when he comes into training. So the next couple of days will be imperative. I expect to see him on Saturday, whether that's to start and play maybe an hour or so if he's fit enough. But at the very least, I think he'll come off the bench at some point. So I'm so excited, you know, that this is what we support, you know, football for, in these moments. And if you can't get excited for Philippe Coutinho signing for your football club, then you might as well pack up now, because it is a watershed moment for me in the club's history.
Dean, are you watching? Come on, Dean. Come on, bit of positivity here.
Get on board, mate.
So the next one through the door looks like it's going to be Luca Digne. El Ghazi looks like he's going to be going the other way in a £15 million move to Everton. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was watching the game last night, and Matt Targett's still an Aston Villa player, and he'll still be an Aston Villa player at the end of the season. He'll be a good squad player for us. But I just kept picturing Luca Digne on the left. I don't know. It's like I'm having an affair or something. Like picturing the mistress, and she's not even there. But I just think he will transform that left hand side for us. I just felt like Matty Targett was 5 yards behind it as we're breaking. He just needs to be that bit more advanced, and I think Luca Digne is going to give us that give us that outlet on the left-hand side. His crossing is terrific. His set pieces is terrific as well. He's up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. The defensive stats between him and Target are pretty similar, but it's what he's going to offer us going forward, which is the main thing. So, buzzing about that one. And now Ghazi, if we were to get 15 million for him, brilliant. We bought him for 8 million. He had him on loan in the Championship. He was part of the 10-game winning streak that will never be forgotten, will it? Took us all the way to Wembley, and he opened the scoring. He sent the Villa end into limbs, absolute limbs. It's a goal I'll never forget. And the Everton moment as well got us back in the Premier League. Our first win back as well. He just erupted Villa Park with that last-minute second goal to seal the win against Everton. So he's had some great moments in the Villa shirt. 10 goals last season helped us stabilise ourselves as a Premier League player, but now we are looking at that next level, and like Justin said, Coutinho is that next level, and he's world class. He's 29, he's in the prime years. He's not too reliant on his pace. So I think if he does have a good loan period and we sign him, his seasons, he could have 6 or 7 years left. I'm thinking like David Silva type of, just where they get better with age and more mature and more savvy and. I feel, I've just seen them pictures of Coutinho in a Villa shirt, number 23. I can't wait for Saturday. Absolutely cannot wait.
Right, so let's move on to Saturday then. So team news, McTominay and Shaw out for Man United. So you'd look like Matic and Fred will start in central midfield. Villa are going to be without McGinn, which is a big miss, but looks like Sanson will step up for that game. We've got to be at them. We've got to go for it. We've got nothing to fear from them whatsoever, in my opinion. I think we've just got to be bang at it. Coutinho in the side. It's going to be electric. We've got a bit of niggle now with them, haven't we? So the atmosphere is going to be very, very good. It's going to be feisty. And I think we've got the belief that we can give them a game. We can go for it, and I think we can beat them. I don't fear it. From watching and being at Old Trafford, I've got nothing to fear from watching them whatsoever. If we're at their levels, which I think we can be, then I think we can 100% get the win. 100%. Hannah, what are your thoughts then?
Yeah, along the same lines, and like I said earlier, I do feel positive based on what we saw last night, and I think that crucial thing of being at home, I think fans, there's going to be a spike, isn't there? I felt like at times last night, not from the crowd, but just from the way the game was going, things were getting a bit spiky, and you did feel the tension kind of building in the fixture. So back at Villa Park, I feel like the crowd are going to hopefully play a big part. We need everyone on side, give them a bit of stick, rattle them a bit, and yet hopefully, obviously, we're going to miss John McGinn, but I always try and back Sanson because I do think he can do a job. I really, really want to start getting him into the side and getting him minutes. Because when he's come on, he's looked pretty good. So, got no worries about that at all. And then, other than that, I think unchanged. It's a 5-day break. It's not like we've stretched for time or anything. So, hopefully, we've learned a few lessons from last night. I'm sure Gerard was making notes mentally about different ways we can attack them, because I think for the most part the main issue was just that clinical, the final pass, the final ball, and that's the thing we really need to sort out on Saturday. If we can sort that out and start even getting a few more shots on target, then I have no worries. Like, they don't scare me at all. Even going into last night's game before we kicked off, I wasn't nervous, which is strange for me because I'm normally absolutely bricking every game. So yeah, I think hopefully we should get the 3 points, because like I say, the minute you start losing another game against a side that you think you can beat, and you have good performances, it starts getting a bit grumbly, doesn't it? So all positive, fingers crossed, and it would be lovely to see our number 23, even if it's for 20 minutes or so, because I think even that, like, it will just really excite everyone inside that stadium, won't it? And him getting some minutes against a former rival as well. I mean, what better time to make your debut for Aston Villa than against Man United? So, yeah, all positive from my end.
Great stuff. Right, so we'll end this one here. I'm sure we'll be back just before the game if we sign Digne, or we'll do something. But yes, let's get the win. We need to get the win. Subscribe to the channel, and thanks for your support. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.